Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, 6th of April. We are into the second quarter of 2021. And we're about to go live with our new IT platform, which is very, very exciting. And so looking forward to that coming out and giving us more opportunity to have a better enhanced digital experience in the Nikken world. I want to address today the big white elephant in the room. I think many of you will be aware of that big white elephant in the room. Some of you may not be. Some of you will know some things about the big white elephant. Some of you will know other things. Some of you will not be sure what the heck is going on. So I want to make everything clear, set the record straight, and deal with this candidly and upfront. I want to emphasize, as I go through today's call, I'm going to deal with facts, not feelings. It's really, really important that I address that and emphasize that up front. I'm going to deal with facts, not feelings. So for those of you that are subscribed to the Core Consultant newsletter that Dave Johnson and I have co-hosted or co-written, co-authored, over the last good number of years now, you'll have noticed that he sent out an email last week on Friday announcing his retirement from Nikken as he pursues new ventures into a new opportunity where he has an opportunity for partnership or co-ownership in a new business venture. That was something that was sent out via that email subscription. We have a good couple of thousand on that email list. So my expectation is if you haven't read the email yet, you will read it soon enough, okay? So there is a piece of the pie, a little piece of the puzzle. A little piece of the puzzle of the white elephant in the room that I'm discussing today is Dave is pursuing a new opportunity with a different business, and he has part ownership in that enterprise. You can appreciate why, if you've got part ownership, something like that might be attractive as a part of your expansion progress and your humans being more goals, what have you, yeah? And we all want to grow and expand, and after 31 years, ownership may make sense for a lot of people. There are some other people, of course, that are on this call that are also aware of some other facts that make up this story as well. And part of those facts are, and I share this, like I said, to deal with facts, not feelings, because it's important that we all understand what's going on and how we move forward on this, and we stop things like the rumor mill that take place when such a big event like this occurs. Okay, so another aspect of this story, again, that is fact, is that Dave didn't choose to resign. He was terminated because of cross-sponsoring or cross-raiding Nikken distributors into this new business. That is something that we all know is an industry-wide requirement in all policies and procedures of every contract, of every independent distributor, including I haven't read the policies and procedures of the new company that he's with, but I can be 99.99% sure they will have that very same policy in place there, that such behavior is not to be accepted. The number one value, the number one asset of any direct selling company is its distributor base. It's its greatest asset. When there are acquisitions of other MLMs, the primary interest of the acquiring company that spends millions of dollars, its primary interest is not the products, it's the database. It's the database. That's what's most important and most cherished. So I want to emphasize that that is a part. Now, I also want to put something forward very clear on this subject. We have seen things like this happen in the past. And one thing that is often common that follows when someone has raided or left or done things of this nature, one thing that always follows is that person's name gets dragged through the mud. People say bad things about them, they disparage them, and so on. I want to make it very clear that we should not do that. I've made Dave a personal promise, and I'm making it a public promise here to each of you. You will never hear me say a disparaging word about Dave. Okay, do I agree in the raiding activity? No, I don't. Does that stop me from loving him, and does that stop him from being my friend? No, it doesn't. But please, if we are to be humans being more, we cannot sink to that level of dragging people's names through the mud. We can disagree with the activity. We can disagree with the behavior, but we can still love the person. So I want to use this time now, having dealt with the facts, and notice how I didn't discuss feelings here. Having dealt with the facts, I've shared that for a couple of important reasons. There is confusion amongst some that is coming back to me because people like Mike and I are conduits, if you will, of a lot of information that are coming where people are confused. They're asking questions. What does this mean? How does this apply to me? Can I participate in both? I'm not a platinum, so can I do this, that, and the other? What are the rules here? Okay, so this is why I'm sharing both sides of the story, or both parts of what is happening, so that we can explain, one, why Dave left. Yes, he's pursued another interest. He's free to do that. But yes, he was terminated for cross-raiding or cross-recruiting. I want to explain what the policies are around that. What does that mean if you're below the rank of platinum? If you're interested in doing both, if you're not interested in doing both, so on and so forth. What are the policies and rules? Okay, because my interest here is for all of you to feel comfortable, to feel secure, to feel happy, to feel confident in your opportunities moving forward, and to know where you stand. Yeah, so if you've got any questions outside of this call, you can also reach out to people like Mike and I, ask the questions, we'll answer them and let you know, okay? So I've got the policies and procedures up here on my screen. I'm gonna read a couple out, and in fact, I'll even do a share screen so you can see that I'm reading it out from the policies. You'll tell by my vernacular and my squinting at the screen that I am reading it out nonetheless. Okay, so let's do a share screen for just 1 second. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it. As you can see here, I'm reading from our policies and procedures on page 4 of the US Policies and Procedures document. Okay, I want to read out a couple of paragraphs. And please bear with me as I'm reading through some of these policies. This sounds wonderfully mundane at the first blush, but we're going to have some, I think, very relevant, important conversations on this. Okay. Here next to the letter H, the basic consultant relationship would be undermined. This is talking about us being independent NICAN consultants. Okay. So what that means. So first of all, you can see here, it's under representations made by NICAN consultants, J.H. The basic NICAN consultant relationship would be undermined if NICAN consultants marketed competing health products. Sorry, give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, the basic relationship would be undermined if NICAN consultants marketed competing health products. Therefore, so long as a NICAN consultant desires to maintain a NICAN consultant status, he or she may not sell or market any health-related products that are similar to the products sold by NICAN. Consultants, so that's one part. We'll discuss that piece in a second. Consultants who achieve the rank of platinum and above are expected to demonstrate leadership qualities and teach the NICAN business and philosophy to downline consultants. In this regard, consultants at platinum rank and above are expected to build a network marketing business exclusively with NICAN in order to receive leadership bonus. Accordingly, NICAN reserves the right to not pay leadership bonuses to a consultant at platinum rank or above who directly or indirectly through any person, entity, or artifice participates in or promotes the products, services, or earnings opportunity associated with any other multi-level marketing or direct sale company. In addition, point number I. So there's 2 points in that one. I'm going to just keep on the screen while we're sharing the screen, and then we'll unshare and we can discuss. The Nikken Lifestyle Bonus Program is available to consultants who are building a network organization exclusively with Nikken. This rule may not be circumvented by removing a co-applicant from the distributorship, meaning Kim and I are co-applicants. I can't take her off it and have her jump into another business and expect that that's going to work for us. Okay, that's kind of trying to trick the deal there, right? And we've seen a little bit of that happen in the recent past. And of course, that happens around the world in network marketing, which is why it's a policy in the first place, right? Because experience is often what creates the policies. Yeah. Okay, point number J. This is an important one. Confidential information. What does this mean? Confidential information means information about the company, its consultants, customers, customer prospects, and or vendors that is not generally known outside the company. That's interesting, that, isn't it? It's not just confidential information, isn't just talking about Nikken's vendors, its staff, and what have you. It's talking about our teams, our downlines, our customers. All of this is confidential information because it's part of the Nikken organization and activity. So all of this information that is not generally known outside of the company, which you may learn of in connection with your status as a Nikken consultant. So anything about different people that you learn in connection with your participation with Nikken is considered confidential. Confidential information may include, without limitation to, the identity of consultants, customers, customer prospects, and or vendors, including names, addresses, email addresses, phone numbers, and what have you. Reports showing rank, title, performance level, and volume of consultants, and so on and so forth. Okay, so all of this is confidential. It talks about this, and then it says, I'm going to scroll down here to this page. Consultants agree that confidential information is proprietary to Nikken and that he or she will maintain such confidential information in a confidential manner and not disclose such information to any third party directly or indirectly, nor use such information to compete with Nikken directly or indirectly during or after termination of the consultant agreement. Consultants acknowledge consultant acknowledges that before, for his or her agreement to maintain confidential information in a confidential manner, Nikken would not provide confidential information to consultants. Okay, I'm struggling to read that section. Let's read point number K. Nikken takes consultant rights to privacy very seriously, and it does not sell, show, or otherwise share information with third parties. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm just going to make sure I don't have any other parts highlighted. I think that's all I highlighted. Okay, it is. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share here. Okay, so there's a lot of information to take on there, isn't there? First of all, I'm going to start with Nikken taking our right to confidentiality very seriously. Having come from the UK or the European market as a corporate executive, I can tell you that right to respect confidential information about distributors and the information that we collect on distributors as that database is built isn't just something of an ethical manner or an ethical duty. It is a legal one, and it's a very strict legal one. In the European Union, that right to protect confidentiality and to use those databases with prudence and wisdom and caution is very, very serious from a legal standpoint. Now, that's, of course, my position on how it works in Europe. In North America, you know, I'm not sure quite with the same vigor in regards to what the law is regarding protecting that data from a company perspective, but irrespective, it's an ethical one, isn't it? That we respect the data that we have collected in that position that we hold as distributors within an organization where we participate as collaborative entrepreneurs. We have a responsibility of care there to respect that database. So there are a few things that have come up there in the policies that are important. One, it first stated that, yes, we are independent, but we also need to comply with policies and procedures that help us to have a respectful and cohesive experience as an organization at large. Why is it important when we are independent? Why can't we just do as we please? Well, why are there so many rules in place in the first instance? Yeah, I want to share, maybe it's an unusual example, but maybe this might make sense a little bit. Many of you know that I've got two sons right now that are out serving as missionaries with the church that I attend. One of them has been serving in Russia, and the rules are pretty, well, the rules as to how we can participate as a missionary in Russia are very strict according to Russian law. Yeah, so he's more of a volunteer there. They perform service. He's worked doing wonderful acts of service in orphanages, helping out children and doing all sorts of good in different ways, shapes and form. But they've also had this pandemic that's interfered with the work. And so they've had a bit of downtime. And it's also been quite a small mission. A lot of missionaries got sent home because of the pandemic. And rather than having such a big kind of army of volunteers, it got reduced to about 20 or so people that were participating in this service. And as a consequence of it being so small, there was a little bit more flexibility as to how they performed their duty during the day. Yeah, they had the pandemic going on, and they had, of course, the Russian rules. But from a day-to-day operation, as long as they stayed within the government regulations, there was a little bit of flexibility as to how they performed. Well, just recently, the government said all British citizens that are serving here on this visa, get out. So they all left. All of these English missionaries had to leave, and he got reassigned to the Ukraine. So right now he is now in the Ukraine, and this mission that he's in now is big and robust, and it's got probably a couple of hundred people in it, and it's got a very different approach. The Ukrainian rules are very different as to how they can operate there as missionaries, and he's having a very different experience. But what he's found is the rules are stricter as to what he can do and how he can perform. And we've discussed this. Why is it that he had so much flexibility when it was small, but it's so much stricter now? And there's a real simple answer for that. When you've got more people involved, you need to have a greater sense of law in order to have a greater sense of harmony. The greater the sense of law, the greater the opportunity for freedom. It seems to be somewhat of a paradox, doesn't it? Because many people would go, no, no, no. If I have less rules, then I am more independent. Actually, if you have less rules, we create more chaos. When we have a greater sense of rule, we have a greater sense of freedom and liberty, which is why we have so many rules in our societies around the world. And that's the same case here in network marketing. And it's certainly the same case here in NICAN, that we have these different rules in place. Why? Because it can give us greater freedom to create a global wellness community, which is what our aspiration is and what we're all working towards. We want to have a global wellness community. If we do that, we need to have some rules in place that allow us to all fly together in sync, in harmony, and in a way that is conducive to getting the very best outcomes. And it certainly supports the brand. We can't have a global wellness community that is loved and respected and admired if from within we tarnish the brand. Yeah, so what does it say? The rules say if we want to be a part of this wellness community and if we want to help to grow it, then let's respect the brand. Let's not sell competing products. Let's not have a foot in multiple camps. How can we show loyalty there? That's like having a wife and a mistress. It kind of doesn't work. Yeah, it's one or the other. So let's be loyal. Let's be devoted. Yeah. So it starts out there by saying, let's first off protect our brand, working from the inside, moving out. Second, as we move into leadership positions, platinum and above, leadership demonstrates, requires loyalty. At first, we ask it at the lower ranks by saying, let's not have a foot in both camps. And then when you get to platinum and above, we demand it. And we say, you cannot expect to be a leader that is respected and have a position of influence and have a voice that is heard and followed. Because of course, our influence doesn't come from what we say, it comes from who we are. So if I've got a wife and a mistress, so to speak, how can I influence for good in a positive way my organization and teach them correct principles if visibly I'm not doing that myself? We can't do that. And we can't skirt the issue and trick the deal by taking our spouse off the agreement, having someone else on there in their place, and expect to say that that's managing the situation in a healthy way. In fact, that was the point that I was going to share. I knew I had something else. At the very top, on page 4, it talks about households. Niken recognizes that members of the same household may belong to competing direct selling opportunities. Although the actions of the parties are normally in good faith, in some circumstances, there is an abusive relationship in which the non-Niken household member is engaged in recruitment, solicitation, or raiding of the Niken sales organization. Since the household member who has ownership interest in the Niken distributorship is in the best position to be responsible to prevent raiding or cross-sponsoring activity by their co-household member, the cross-recruiting activity of the non-Niken household member shall be attributed to the Niken distributorship, subjecting the distributorship to discipline or termination. Okay, meaning if Kim and I'll use us as an example. Kim and I say, hey, let's be somewhere else as well. Let's take Kim off the distributorship. You go do your own thing. I'll stay here with Niken and I'll just keep building my business. You do yours. But if you get a few of my guys in, that doesn't work. I'll get terminated for that. Okay. So the process, what is the process then when someone is in a situation where there is a disciplinary process? Normally, now I've had a question here, was Dave warned by Niken? This did not happen suddenly out of the blue. It is not my position to speak on behalf of Niken regarding confidential processes that are applied to a distributor specifically. So in regards to Dave specifically, it would be out of sorts for me to answer that. What I can do is say, what is the process? What is the policy? The policy is, and we'll read further down, we will run out of time for me to pull it up, but you can find it out in your own policies and procedures. It's there, that people will be given 3 written warnings. Okay, so there is a chance for them to be told, we've been given evidence. It's not just a word of mouth. There is written evidence, visible evidence of violation of policies. Someone will be given 1, 2, and 3 chances to stop before a termination will typically occur. So that suggests, according to policy, that any termination would not be something that would be out of the blue, unless it was incredibly, overwhelmingly significant. Yeah, okay. And I've seen in the past plenty of overwhelmingly significant examples of violations of policies. Yeah, people going to prison and all sorts of kind of things. So yeah, this is not one of those situations, of course. But yes, people get plenty of chance to respond, to stop, to defend, and of course, to appeal a decision. Every action has a chance to appeal. And when someone is terminated, they have 15 days to appeal the decision and respond as well, if they so choose. Okay, so in every step of the way, they can be put on probation, they can be given written warnings, they can have leadership bonuses stopped. There are multiple different responses depending upon the severity of the action. And in each instance, there are warnings that are given and a chance to appeal and respond. So when someone is terminated, that suggests that it's been a long, thorough process that has not been treated lightly by any stretch. Okay, so like I said, I'm giving you policy there, and I'm not associating that with any particular person, because we need to respect the confidentiality of anyone's personal process that they've gone through. Okay, so we've covered a lot today, haven't we? What does that mean going forward? Okay, let's say there's someone on the call today that is madly in love with Nikken, kind of likes the products of this other company too, right? What does that mean? Well, if you want to use the products, fine, right? This is what I'd say though. I want to give some advice here. I don't have any concern if you want to use someone else's products and you have a great experience. I would be nervous for you if you thought this would be great to start sharing to Nikken people and recommending they start getting involved, because it's a little bit like, I'm not sure if you've heard that little story about the camel in the tent. Have you heard that story about the camel in the tent? It's a little bit like, the story is a metaphor for avoiding temptation. Yeah. And there's a man out in the desert and he's riding his camel, and a sandstorm sets in. So he lays out his tent and he gets inside his tent to avoid the sandstorm. And his camel, of course, is set outside the tent. And the camel, this is a fable, so the camel speaks. Okay, so the camel just puts his nose into his owner and he says, "Oh, it's so windy out here and I'm getting all of this, all of the sand beating on me. Can I just get my nose in? Can I just get my nose in here?" And he goes, "Oh no, I really don't want you to." He said, "Oh please, just my nose, just so I can keep it out of the sand, out of the storm." "Oh, okay, fine." And so he gets his nose in and he goes, "Oh, thank you." And then a little while later, he's like, "Oh, it's still beating on me and the wind is so fierce. Can I just get the rest of my head, just the rest of my head and maybe my neck?" Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, okay, fine. Since your head is already in here, why not? Okay, get your neck in too." And then a little bit later on, "Oh, maybe just my front legs, just my front legs." And then eventually, by the end of the night, the entire camel is in the tent and the person is pushed out the side and he's out on the other end of the tent. And what does this mean? It's this typical process that we go through, isn't it, with temptation? We start off small, we tolerate a little bit, and then we tolerate a little more, and then all of a sudden circumstances change. Yeah, it's that look but don't touch but don't taste but don't swallow kind of process we just go through. Yeah. So yes, it's fine to use the products. I've got no concerns with that. Nikken has no concerns with that. If you start recommending them to other Nikken distributors, you're starting on a process that could lead them to go, maybe I'll start spending my money there versus with Nikken. Maybe I'll start recommending people go there versus with Nikken. Maybe all of a sudden now I'm building my business there versus with Nikken. And now I'm wondering why my Nikken business isn't growing and I'm doing something different. And can you see how it will create confusion? It will create, and that can be destabilizing for some. And here's another destabilizing fact, which often happens. If you jump into a new company and start having a lot of fun there, at the front end, you go, "Look, I'm going to start recruiting like crazy and look at this result that I'm getting." Well, the challenge is with that, Mike pointed this out to me in a great conversation we had the other day. Many people have great results in their recruiting activity in a new business when they get started, because typically that will represent more recruiting activity than they've done in the last couple of years in their existing business. Yeah. So they'll go, "I'm getting great results there." Well, that's because it doesn't represent the same activity that you're putting in here. So you got to keep that in mind. Yeah. So if you've got any questions, this is what I would say. If you've got any questions, if you've got any doubts about what to do, just give us a shout. Let me know. Okay. My interest is to help you to achieve your goals and have the best experience possible. Okay. And it's as simple as that. And like I said, if you hear, I posted on Facebook the other day, and I'd encourage you to take this to heart and to apply it. We've all heard the saying, "He that is without sin casts the first stone." Yeah. In a situation like this, we've heard someone that we love. Dave is no longer in Nikken. He's a legacy member of our business, 31 years. He left, unfortunately, with a bit of a cloud. Yeah, but he's got an opportunity and a future in front of him. That's a bit of a tragedy. I share that as a fact. and I'm not disparaging him. We don't throw stones, but at the same time, I want to invite everyone to be stone catchers. If you hear someone throwing stones, catch them, intervene, stop. Don't let that be a part of our Nikken business. Nikken is about humans being more. What people love about being in Nikken is our philosophy as well as our products. It's the opportunity that we have to become the best version of ourselves. And we cannot be the best version of ourselves by disparaging other people. Okay? We love them. We do that always. Okay? We stand up for them and we do what's right and we let the consequence follow. Okay? So we can disagree with the action, but we can love the person. Okay? So I want to emphasize that and make sure that we understand the full picture of what we're dealing with here right now, how it applies to us, and what we can do as a result of what we're getting involved in here. So I want to emphasize something just in conclusion as well. Platinum and above, like I said, have the responsibility to be in one company, but cross-recruiting, regardless of rank, even if you're a direct distributor, is not prohibited in any MLM. Any MLM. Okay, so when this activity happens here to go to another company, and that company rubs its hands with glee and says, great, look at all these Nikken people. We've seen that in the past, haven't we? That very company has this rule in place that says, if you do it to us, we'll kick you out. Okay? Keep that in mind, regardless of rank, in every direct selling company. No one is allowed to cross-recruit and invite people from their existing business to join competing MLMs. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So I hope this has been of help. I want you to know that I love you. And I'm grateful that we've got this wonderful team. As I look at what we're working towards now with Nikken, I am more encouraged now than ever before. Luis Kasuga is a profoundly competent, very well experienced, very focused CEO. He is proving results of growth and prosperity in Latin America, and he is transferring that skill set and that energy here to North America and into Europe. We're seeing the new platform come out very soon. That's been something that's been working on, as we all know, for years. And we're finally starting to see it come out, okay? That's going to be a phased journey, by the way, yeah? We need to recognize that's going to be a journey of progress and improvement, not an immediate delivery of something that's perfect. That's going to be something that will be evolutionary versus revolutionary, okay? But he has a clear vision for 2025 of what we are to be and to become. And I'm thrilled to say that he has a closer relationship with Mr. Watanabe than any of his predecessors. And in conversations that I've had with him, Mike's had with him, he's outlined how he has regular, very lengthy conversations with Mr. Watanabe, who is now more actively involved in our business, who is devoting resources to our business, to our future, to our growth and our prosperity, to change and transformation. And so we see here now a clear vision with a leader that is empowered to act, that is confident and secure in all that we have moving forward. And this is something that we should really lay hold on and run with every strength that we've got, because as we all know, people don't care what you do, they care why you do it. Why are we doing this? Why are we in what we're doing here? It's because of humans being more and the 5 pillars of health. That's what it's all about. I joined Nikken because I loved the chance to make a difference in people's lives, and I could do that on a mass scale here. I could reach out and touch people's lives and let them know that they can be a better version of themselves. How do we become a better version of ourselves? In quick summary, I know I'm going over just a couple of minutes. We cannot be a better version of ourselves without a struggle. We don't glide on roller skates down the hill to victory on a better version of who we are. It doesn't work that way. It's a climb upwards, isn't it? Sometimes we're forging new paths. Sometimes we are pioneers. Sometimes we're the ones that are leading the way when someone else hasn't done it yet before us. And that's okay. It's in those moments that we have the chance to be the best version of us. We cannot get there any other way. And NICAN provides us a vehicle where we can struggle, strain in a business environment, have a team effort of support, understand the founding philosophies and principles that govern good practice, that govern good teamwork, that govern the way we can be to get the best version of us out there, and we go out there and we get it. And I'm confident with every feeling of my heart that 2025 is going to be an incredible year for NICAN. And we can all be a significant part of that. So I love you. Let's all make a very clear decision to have a very focused commitment to the 2025 vision of NICAN's global wellness community and have the best experience along the way that we can. Thank you very much. Love you all. And again, any questions, just reach out, let me know. I'm here to help. And they'll be treated in the strictest of confidence as well. Okay? Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.